Lake Geneva without noticing that it was even there. On a visit to the Charterhouse of Dauphiné, St. Bernard astonished his hosts by arriving on a magnificent white horse diametrically opposed to the ascetic values he professed, but he explained that he had borrowed the animal from a wealthy uncle and had simply failed to register its appearance on a 4-day journey across France. Nevertheless, such determined efforts to scorn visual experience have always been matched by equally persistent attempts to mould the material world to graceful ends. People have strained their backs carving flowers into their roof beams, and their eyesight embroidering animals onto their tablecloths. They've given up weekends to hide unsightly cables behind ledges. They've thought carefully about appropriate kitchen work surfaces. We seem divided between an urge to override our senses and numb ourselves to our settings, and a contradictory impulse to acknowledge the extent to which our identities are indelibly connected to and will shift along with our locations. Belief in the significance of architecture is premised on the notion that we are, for better or for worse, different people in different places, and on the conviction that it's architecture's task to render vivid to us who we might ideally be. But sensitivity to architecture also has its more problematic aspects. If one room can alter how we feel, if our happiness can hang on the colour of the walls or the shape of a door, what will happen to us in most of the places we're forced to look at and inhabit? What will we experience in a house with prison-like windows, stained carpet tiles and plastic curtains? It's to prevent the possibility of permanent anguish that we can be led to shut our eyes to most of what's around us, for we're never far from damp stains and cracked ceilings, shattered cities and rusting dockyards. We can't remain sensitive indefinitely to environments which we don't have the means to alter for the good. There's no shortage of reasons to be suspicious of the ambition to create great architecture. Buildings rarely make palpable the efforts that their construction demands. They are coyly silent about the bankruptcies, the delays, the fear, and the dust that they impose. Even when we've attained our goals, our buildings have a grievous tendency to fall apart again with precipitate speed. It can be hard to walk into a freshly decorated house without feeling preemptively sad at the decay impatiently waiting to begin. In his essay On Transience, written in 1916, Sigmund Freud recalled a walk he took in the Dolomite Mountains with the poet Rainer Maria Rilke. It was an exquisite summer's day. The psychoanalyst was glad to be outdoors. It had been raining all week, but his companion walked with his head bowed and remained taciturn throughout the excursion. It wasn't that Rilke was oblivious to the beauty around him. He simply couldn't overlook how impermanent everything was. Freud was unsympathetic. For him, the capacity to love anything attractive, however fragile it might be, was a hallmark of psychological health. But Rilke's stance, though inconvenient, helpfully emphasizes how it can be those most enthralled to beauty who will be especially aware of and saddened by its ephemeral character. Such melancholic enthusiasts will see the moth-hole beneath the curtain swatch and the ruin beneath the plan. At its apex, a passion for architecture may turn us into aesthetes, eccentric figures who must watch over their houses with the vigilance of museum guards, patrolling their rooms in search of stains, a damp cloth or sponge in hand. Aesthetes force us to consider whether happiness may not sometimes turn on the presence or absence of a fingerprint, whether in certain situations beauty and ugliness may not lie only a few millimeters apart. We should thank these sensitive spirits for pointing us with theatrical honesty towards the possibility of a genuine antithesis between competing values, for example, an attachment to beautiful architecture and the pursuit of an exuberant and affectionate family life. How wise were the ancient philosophers in suggesting that we exclude from our vision of contentment anything that might one day be covered by lava or blow down in a hurricane, succumb to a chocolate smear, or absorb a wine stain. Architecture is perplexing, too, in how inconsistent is its capacity to generate the happiness on which its claim.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.